Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure, the Footbot, from the last Ronin comic book series. Now I love this comic book series. It's a really good series. I've been really liking what NECA has been doing with the figures for it. They definitely capture the overall look from the comics. So I'm really excited to see what they did with this particular character. So first off, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for anybody who's watching this video for the first time and you like it, and I please ask that you subscribe and also check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. All right, so here he is in packaging. I love this front art. The front art looks really cool. Definitely taken right out of the comic books, which I always like when they do that. So you got the last Ronin up here, his name, Footbot, NECA down there in the corner. And you open up the packaging. So first off, you get this nice open window where you can see the figure, all his accessories. Spinning around to the other side here. You get a nice picture of the action figure. I do like that. Close them up. Spin them around to this side. Get some more really cool comic book art. Let's get it better. There we go. So you get this really neat comic book art so you can see him, a bunch of the other Footbots behind him. You can even see Mikey's hand over there in the corner, which is pretty cool. All right. So, boop. Bringing around here, you get a couple of shots of the figure and multiple figures because they are world building figures or troop building, whatever terminology you prefer. You get a little bit about the story. You get a nice piece of black and white art. I do like that. That looks really neat. All right, come around this side. You get the iconic first issue cover. Last Ronin. What number figure he is. All right. Got the top here, the last Ronin, your age restriction, choking hazards, and underneath you got your legal and SKUs. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is, out of packaging. The first thing we're going to do is look at all his points of articulation. So the head does move. You get a shoulder joint here. Not a whole lot of movement in it just because of how this tip is. You get a swivel, an elbow joint, and you do have a wrist joint. All right. Get this other arm up, kind of. There it goes. So you do have a joint here that would be considered like a rib joint. All right. And you also have a joint at the hips. All right. Spin them around this way. You have a thigh joint with a swivel. All right, a little bit tight. You do have a knee joint. All right, and you also have, you can get in there, an ankle joint. All right, feels like there should be, yeah. There's also a swivel here at the knee as well. All right. Get these feet back up on here. All right. Now for his finer detail. So there's a lot of really cool detail to this figure. So first off, the head sculpt looks really cool. I like the overall design to that head sculpt. Take a look at it from this side. Now I like the attention to detail. So it has the black lines in it. You got that red piece above it. And some black detailing around it as well. And then underneath, you can see like the gears and mechanics inside his neck. That look really neat. We'll probably get a better look at that. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Now you could get a better look at the underneath. That looks really cool. I like that. Same with like under here. I don't know if we could get them in a position like this, where you can see all these gears and gadgets and stuff underneath his body. I do like that. Same with like the legs. go all the way down into the legs. And even here, you get like some hoses connecting the knee joint and stuff. So a lot of attention to detail to this figure. All right, we spin him around this way. I'm going to actually pull this arm up like this so you can really see underneath there. Let's get that leg straight. So you have like all sorts of pockets and stuff. He almost has the whole C3PO thing going on, where the whole centerpiece is like just wires and gears and exposed stuff like that, which is kind of neat. Same with the knees. You can see like the gears and stuff in there, all the way down to the boot. Come around here. He has two spots there for his swords. All right. And a better look at these gears and hoses that attach to his knees. And we're going to put this arm down like this. So you can see all the detail in his gauntlet and stuff. I like that a lot with the red and highlights and everything. I think that looks really nice. So I really do feel like they put some love into this figure. They put some really nice detail into this action figure. So now we're going to get into his accessories. So first off, he comes with a couple of hands. So he comes with two open hands. 1, 2. All right. He has two, I guess they kind of look like pointing hands. So you got the two fingers out. 1. And then 2. All right. And then he has two holding hands. So you got this one here. And this one. All right. Now he has two alternate heads. So he has his battle damaged one, which actually can be swapped out with his current head. So we'll try that out. Probably going to need hot water for that. And he got this wrecked helmet head. From what I'm looking at, you could probably put Casey's baseball bat through this to make it look like he's smashing the head. So that's pretty cool. All right. He has two extendo arms. So here's 1. And 2. All right. And then 2 swords. So you got 1 and 2. All right, so I let that other head soak in some hot water for a minute. So it should be good. Ooh, that is hot water. Damn. Really hot water. Pull that bad boy out of there. These. So as you can see, it's soaked in the hot water, and that head just pops right off with no issues. So let's swap these heads out. That's on there pretty tight. There it goes. I'm going to put that one in the hot water, let it cool down a little. So see how easy that head went on after sitting in some hot water? And that's the nice thing about the hot water is you really have a part that's really hard to get off or on. Soak it in a little bit of hot water, not even for a long time, and it just swaps out very easily. No issues. So now that that's done, let's start looking at the hands on this guy. So first off, let's pop this hand off. All right, we'll put that over there. We'll replace it with this hand. All right, pop this one off. Whoops. And we'll replace it with this one. So as you can see, the two alternate hands fit very well on him. No issues. All right. Now we're going to get the two weapon holding hands. All right. This one goes on this side. And then we got this one. Put him back on his little stand here. All right. So those two hands fit very well on him as well. And I accidentally took the one sword holding hand off. There it goes. I meant this one as well. Let's put the swords in his hands. Now this guy is straight. Oddly enough, has some very soft, flexible fingers, which for the most part is kind of uncommon with the NECA figure. So I like that a lot. That way, the weapons just go nicely into his hands with no issues. Now let's pull this one out of the hot water and see how nicely that fits on there now. So I do like heating some of this stuff up. Now, with these swords, he has 2 spots for them in the back. All right, so let's pull these off. Spin him around to the back here. See how well these fit in here. All right, that slides in pretty nicely. And that slides in pretty nicely. Let's see how well they hold. All right. All right, so they're a little loose in there, but they do hold for the most part. So I don't have any issues with that. Now back to heads. Like I said earlier, this one was meant to have like a bat through it. So I got one of Casey's bats here. And that's supposed to lock right in here. All right, so as you can see that does work. It is definitely meant to fit through there like that. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Trying to get my hand on it so you can see both the bat and the head. So that is a neat, option with this figure. I do like that. So like even on one of your cases, you could probably just have this thing like hanging off of his bat, which would be pretty neat. I do like that as well. Okay, so now let's try these extendo arms. That came off pretty easy. No issues. That one went on pretty well. This one's a little tight. There it goes. Right, this arm giving me a little bit of a problem. I may put this into hot water if it keeps this up. There it goes. All right. These things came off. No, oops, this one goes here. They easily go right back on. They just fit in these little peg holes. Oops. Goes the other way. All right. Those are on. Let's grab some hands here. All right, so that one on. And let's get this hand. All right. So that goes on. All right. Get that out of there. So there you go. Now you have your 2 extending arms. The hands fit in there pretty well. They slide on pretty easily. This one was a little bit tight. Now, I did have some issues with these things falling off, as you could see, but they just go right back into place. That's not a major issue. Oops. If we get this last one on, here we go. Oh, it goes the other way. Round. And there it goes. Whoops, or not. So, there you go. Everything seems to work pretty well with this figure. So now let's get into my final thoughts with this guy. First off, all his joints work very well. I don't have any issues with any of his joints. They move pretty easily with little to no resistance. His accessories, everything seems to swap out very well. His hands, his extension arms, his weapons, and so forth. The only thing that I had to use a little bit of hot water was to get the head off of the broken neck, the severed neck piece. So that's not a big deal. That's pretty common with a lot of figures nowadays. Plus, I also heated up this head just to make it a little bit easier to get in on and off. So those aren't major issues. As for the overall look to him, I like the overall look to him. I like the sculpting. I like a lot of the colors that they use for this figure. I think it works very well with him. So at the end of the day, would I recommend him? Absolutely. I think he's a great looking figure. He would be a great piece if you're into the Last Ronin comics or even into the Turtles in general, because he would fit in well with
any of your turtle collection. So overall, yes, I would highly recommend this figure for collectors. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody who has watched this video. You're very much appreciated. And I'd also ask you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Plus, check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playlist. So, until the next one, late.